That's it. It is possible. It is possible. And there's a book. It's called The Mastery of Love. And in that book, The Mastery of Love, Don Ruiz, he says that when people start dating or when they introduce each other, you think it's just two people, but in the beginning, it's four, because there's the real person, and then the person who they portray to be, and the person they portray to be. So it's actually four people in that relationship. And then he said he goes takes it a step further and says it's six, because then you also add, and listen to this, guys. You add into that the person that the one person in the relationship perceives the other one to be and wants them to become, and vice versa. So you have the real person, the person they present, and the person that the other one perceives them as and wants to mold them to be. So you actually have more than two people in a relationship. Now, knowing that, it's interesting because that truth also applies to different relationships. You can be a parent, right? You have your child. There's the person that your child is. There's the person that your child presents to you, and then there's the person that you want to mold your child to be. The same thing is applicable to your partner or your spouse. It's applicable in a lot of relationships, right? So yes, it's possible to be acquainted, and that's why I use the word acquainted, with someone for decades and not know them. So what I'm trying to uh, clarify or figure out to be able to share is, how can you a present your true self to the other person, and how can you encourage that other person to present themselves so that it can be as close as close to just two people in that relationship instead of four or six or eight. um, you as an individual can actually eliminate one of those, and that's the perceived and the one you want to mold. Hey Denise, how are you? That's Eating Up with Denise, guys. Follow her. She has awesome mukbangs and different foods and great conversation. She's the one that gave me the encouragement to go live, because I hardly ever do lives. Well, I never did lives. So love you. Mwah. Te quiero mucho. Um, so yeah, we're talking about uh, being acquainted with someone for a long time and not knowing them, and how that's possible. And I had mentioned the book Mastery of Love by Don Ruiz, that says that in a relationship, you think it's just two people, but it's actually four, because it's the two people and then the person that this they present to be to the other person. And then you actually add other two, which is how these two people perceive each other and want each other to be molded. So in one relationship, it can be two people. It's more than two people. It's four or six. And I'm trying to figure out how to be able to eliminate those other people so you can get to the core two people. And I was thinking, well, there's one way to eliminate one of the other people, which would be you not trying to mold the other person, or trying to have the perception, hey Shawnee, how are you? What's going on? I hope everything's going good. Thank you. So is it, what do you think, Shawnee? What do you think, Denise? Being in a relationship, and I'm saying this relationship is not just a romantic relationship like with your spouse, it's a relationship with your children, with your cousins, with your coworkers. There's always something called the perceived person, right? So it's the actual person, the core person, the presented person, the person that I would present to you. So there's Martial, and then there's the Martial that I would present to you, and then there's the Martial that you see and you perceive me a certain way and might want to mold me to be that way. So there's already three. So if it's three people of me and three people of the other person in the relationship, be it a platonic or romantic relationship, there's more than two people in that relationship. Now, to eliminate that, you have to, one way of eliminating it, stop trying to perceive the person one way, be it your child, be it your spouse, be it your mom, be it your dad, your cousin. Stop trying to perceive them, having a perception of them, and also don't try and make them be something. And that eliminates one of those people. And then you're able to start seeing them for who they are as a person, right? The other thing is you also try not to be the let's call it the manufactured you. So there's the core you, and then there's the manufactured you, right? Try not to present the manufactured you. Try and present the you that is you, and that'll help in that relationship. Now, is it necessary to not present the manufactured you in all of your relationships? Absolutely not. But in the more intimate relationships, you know what I mean? It's going a little foggy, sorry. So the more intimate, like with a spouse, with a partner, with your child, with your parents, you don't have to present the manufactured you. Present the true you. And that will help start bridging that gap of not knowing the real person. And I say this because the people I've been speaking to, they've been parents and they've been people in a romantic relationship, spouse or partner or living. And they've mentioned how, or people who wound up getting a divorce, and the core of that was I didn't know who the person was, or after the divorce I found out who this person was. So it's important to try and eliminate as many of the other iterations of the person and try and get to the core, you know? So, for example, in my case, I've been able to do that with my mom. I did have a perceived mom, you know? I didn't know she was as cool as she is. Like, my mother is awesome. When I say she's awesome, like as a human being, she's wise, she's intelligent, she has awesome foresight and perspicacity. She knows how to elaborate what she wants to say, and she's very fair. But growing up as a kid, I thought she was the meanest thing in the world. I thought she was unfair. I thought that she wasn't balanced, you know? And I'm coming to find out that she is really one of the best people in the world. Thank you, Denise. You probably knew that before I knew that. you know, you probably knew that before I knew that. Uh, it's true. It's true. We all do think that growing up. We have these perceptions of our parents, and then we're able to get to know them as people, right? We're adults, they're adults, we get to know them as people, and boom, we're like, oh my goodness, like your dad and your mom are like freaking amazing. You know what I mean? I love them. So it's like, but what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there's some truth to that? That in relationships you have the core person, the manufactured person, and then the perceived person, and maybe we'll say a fourth person. Yes, I don't blame you. Your parents, oh, especially your dad and your mom. They're both like, I don't know. I have no words. Yes, I do have words. What are the words? Your father he is altruistic. That's the word I can say for your father. He's like genuinely altruistic. And your mother is just a ball of love. So there you go. I was able to find the words. you know? So yeah, but that was the thought. So to be able to develop a better relationship and be able to get to know who the people that are in your intimate circle are, drop your manufactured self and allow the person to be able drop your perception of the person, actually see them for who they are. I didn't get to see them what you wrote. Let me see. My dad was. Oh, let me tell you something. You see, your dad is just amazing. He's just amazing. Ugh, I love your dad. I love your dad. So let me tell you, Central America. Central America. You know, my dad is Honduran. A lot of Central American dads can be some of the most loving, most affectionate parents. You know, I think every parent. Let me just not just limit it to Central American. Yeah, but yes, Shawnee, what do you think? Tell me, am I speaking gibberish or am I making sense? Yeah, but that was what I was thinking. So to round it up, to be able to get to know the core person in a relationship, be it platonic, be it romantic, be it familial, whatever it is, it starts from you. You have to know your core self so that that can be what you present, not eliminate, because the manufactured self is essential for other relationships, but put the manufactured self on the side and allow the person to feel comfortable enough to put down the manufactured person, and don't see them with the perceived eyes. Try and see them for who they are. Okay? And that, I think, will help spouses get to know each other and not feel like they don't. And it'll help parents get to know their children and children get to know their parents. Let me see, Shawnee. I believe we have many layers to ourselves. I want people to see so quickly. Okay, I'll read it. It says, I like this. Thank you, Shawnee. I do believe we have many layers to ourselves that we don't want people to see so quickly. We see the layers quickly, but we ignore the signs early in the relationship. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that takes it to, yes. Self-developed layers, right? And then you have on it. So we have self-developed layers, right? The core, the manufactured, and then you have the exterior imposed layers, which are the perceived, and then the one that the person wants. So absolutely, we do have many layers. We do have, I call them many iterations. So yeah, and those layers sometimes I say are absolutely essential for different situations, but you don't want to just present, let's say, business Shawnee all the time. You know what I mean? Because then how will the people who are supposed to, you know, your partner, your children, how will they get to know Shawnee, right? Same thing with Martial. I don't want to always present. Well, I'll be honest with you, and anyone who knows me can tell anyone who's watching this video, there is really just one me. What you get on the video is what you get when you come get your hair done, is what you get when you just come to visit me, and I make you some tortillas, you know, with some refried beans, or I make a lasagna or a cornbread. So that lets y'all know I like to cook, you know. But yeah, you always get Marcia. You know, you always get be in Spanish or English or whatever. Yes, honey. Hey, thank you, Denise. True, right? Yeah, you always get me. But that's because I say fortunately because my mom helped me at a very young age to know my core self and to only present my core self. But I didn't look at her core self until now, you know. But yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, we have to get to know our core selves so that that way we can present that. And when people have a perceived, you know, iteration of us, that's on them, you know. Oh, Denise, by the way, I'm wearing the shirt you got me. Take, oh no, take on me was what did they say? Wake me up before you go. Yes. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. I hope it was a positive. time for a conversation. Let's call it conversation because we were able to converse digitally. And I love you guys, okay? Mwah, Denise, I love you. Mwah. Thank you, Shawnee. I'll see y'all soon, all right? Good night, Shawnee. Rest well and wake up refreshed.